Heyo and welcome in today. Today you're joined by me, Daniel, and also Nikolai Lockertsen. You there?
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome in.
Thank you.
This is awesome. It's great to have you in. Um,
Cool to be here.
yeah. You have some awesome work. Um, inspiration for me, and inspiration for a lot of artists out there as well. Um, and
Thank you.
can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you. I am 43 years old. I live in Norway and started out drawing when I was a kid, as most of us do, I guess. But it was one of the things that I sort of had the knack for. I wasn't good at much, but with drawing, it kind of felt a bit more natural to me. Um, and of course, when you get praise, if you have a little talent somewhere, then people say, "Oh, you're so good at this," and then you want to do it more because you like the praise, right? So it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. And so just drawing a lot as a kid,
Yeah.
just a pencil and ballpoint pen, and that was kind of my tools. And being very fascinated by movies and film and animation as well. And my father worked in the film industry, so I was often visiting on sets and stuff like that. And I was very fascinated by that part of the uh, that sort of work as well. So I felt early on that I need to combine the drawing with movies in some way, but I didn't know exactly how I would do that. But yeah, eventually I uh, did some an animation course in Germany, in Halle, in 2000. And that's also where I met my wife. And after that, I got into the industry, the animation and visual effects industry in Norway,
Hmm.
and worked there for a good bunch of years, 15 years or so, and a bit freelance, but also mostly hired by studios. And then the last 7 years or so I've been freelancing and mainly worked as a concept artist and illustrator. But I still dabble into the animation part, and I want to do some more animation, but just more for fun probably. Not sure if I'm gonna animate for hire yet. I need to, because I worked as a 3D animator for several years. I love the animation part, but I'm still fairly new to the 2D animation business. But I just love painting, drawing, and also animating. So it's mainly work for films and TV stuff. That's the main part, and then but I also do some like commercial drawings or book covers or children books and stuff like that. So it's yeah, mainly
Awesome.
main stuff for the screen, but yeah.
Yeah, sounds like you do it a little bit of dabbling then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like to keep my horizon wide. I don't like to be just good at just be the creature guy or just be the environment guy. I like to do a little bit of everything.
Awesome. That must have been awesome being like on sets and things like that. Growing up.
Yeah, it's yeah, it is. It's very, but it looks nothing like the movie, right? So it's just chaos around a small piece of controlled area. But it's very inspirational.
Was there
Uh,
any biggish movies anyone would know, or were they smaller productions?
well, there was. Do you know the movie Flight of the Navigator?
No, I don't think I've heard of that one.
No, it kind of came out sometime after E.T., but sort of in the same type of type of film where a kid gets abducted by an alien ship, and
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
suddenly he's when he wakes up, he's kind of 5 years have passed, or 8 years or so, and he's still the same age, and he there's this kind of living UFO that's kind of the ET in this movie.
Hmm.
And they did all the interior shoots of the UFO in Norway for some fun reason, but it was like a Hollywood production.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, I guess, the kind of like the biggest name. But Troll Hunter, did you? There's not many Norwegian films that kind of reach out over the other side of the earth, but I know Troll Hunter became kind of like a cult movie. Yeah, Kon-Tiki, and yeah, but it's mainly local stuff. But I worked on Sonic recently, Sonic 2. So that's
jeez, yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that was lots of fun, and at the start it was a bit of controversy when it first kind of released its trailers and things like that.
Yes. It's nice to test the design on the people. You got people aren't very nice when you show sort of the wrong looking stuff. You get a clear message back. Yeah,
definitely, especially with a character like that, Sonic, who has been well loved for 20, 30 years. Quite a long time. Then I remember playing it back when I was a kid, when I was like 5 or 6, and my older sisters had like a Nintendo 64, and I'd play Sonic the Hedgehog on there mainly. Lots of fun.
Yeah. No, I also really liked that. I was more fan of Sega than Nintendo back in the day, so but I never had one of those video games myself. I wasn't allowed to have that, but some of my friends had, and of course then I played it at their place. So yeah, but it's also cool to see that with Sonic, that even though it's a live action movie, you can really go super cartoony on Sonic and the other characters that are from that world, and you don't really have to be realistic, except for, I guess it's nice that the render is realistic, like the fur looks real and the reflections in the eyes and stuff. That's nice to have it sort of integrated in that world. But have you seen the TV series Gumball?
Gumball, yep. The world of Gumball, yep.
Yeah. That's also I love that series, but it's such a goofy combination of all kinds of animation styles.
Yeah.
So for each character, it can be like clip art or 3D or 2D or even just like a real mouth being upside down with glued on eyes, and it works. It's about storytelling and how you how you just how they're animated, and part of the world you don't really stop, and you don't fall out of the story, even though it's just a bunch of different styles put together.
Definitely.
I think
it's really cool to see. I think that kind of idea I've seen like in SpongeBob. I think I first kind of saw that, where they would have a certain scene where it was more realistic looking, or obviously there was some of the scenes where you got to see the captain who sings a song, and he goes to his world and he talks about SpongeBob and everything. But yeah, the realistic scenes, like I think one that I vaguely really remember is looking at Patrick Starr's belly button, and seeing it realistically like filled with dust and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was awesome to see. It like it kind of adds something to it. And I think Gumball does that too, where it adds to the story, it adds to the characters with the different, looks for each character. Yeah, it's awesome to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. It's fun. I like the playful stuff, it's that people kind of push the limits a bit. And also with did you watch the Arcane series?
Yeah, I've just finished that.
Yeah, but it's just so much inspiration in that.
Yeah, awesome. I wasn't like sure at first about the series because I've never really played League of Legends or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like 100% sure about it. But then, I heard about it, saw some of the art style from it. I had an artist the other week say, "Oh, you should really watch it." I was like, "Okay." And then, I thought I'll give it a go, and I was just, it was like, oh my gosh, it has a depth story to it. It has amazing, animation in it. So there's so much there, and
Yeah, and also I love the merge between 2D and 3D. When you can, I like when the camera feels natural and alive, and like the camera movement and the focus, and when that's alive, I really enjoy that. But I usually like the 2D painted stuff more. So when you can have like a 2D painted environment, but you just put it on 3D planes, for example, so you can have your animated camera, and then you can have 2D or 3D characters. Doesn't really matter, but it's when you merge 2D and 3D in a clever way, I think that's when you get the best results.
Definitely.
Yeah, like Into the Spider-Verse, or also Klaus, the Christmas movie.
Yeah,
Not sure if you've seen those, but
I've seen both of those.
Just great inspiration.
Yeah, I really enjoy just watching movies sometimes, even like all the kids ones, just to see I enjoy the movies anyway, the story and everything, but to see the characters as well, and the way the stories are told, everything that goes into them, it is quite cool to see. Sometimes they inspire me to do things sometimes, watching a few years ago some of the Star Wars movies, seeing the Porgs that wanted me to draw Porgs, back when Avatar first came out. I saw those dragons that were in there, those dragon-like creatures, and I was just blown away. I was just like, all I wanted to do was go home and draw some dragons,
Yeah.
So it's awesome where we can find inspiration and things like that.
Yeah, I totally recognize myself in that. Just that. Oh, I want to paint now. I want to draw. This is cool. I'm super inspired. It's it's fun to have that as almost like an instinct that you get inspired by something and you just want to get that inspiration out somehow.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I know that you've done a Schoolism class on Procreate. I was wondering how that came about for you to do that.
Yes, I actually have 2 courses out now on Schoolism. I was reached out to by Bobby Chu, the main guy at Schoolism, and he asked if I wanted to make a Procreate course. And I guess part of that is because I was very early on jumping on the Procreate wagon. You know, it was from it came out in 2011. I was a huge Procreate fan as soon as I tried it out, and it was kind of limited. I'm not sure when you tried it out, or I guess most people probably found it after 2015 when the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil had come out, because that's when it was, how should I say, more easy to use. Like, without a really good pen, you feel like you're drawing with one hand on your back in a way, you know. So you, but it was like, for me, it was a. I commuted at that time to between my city where I live in, Moss, and Oslo, and that was like an hour sitting on the bus doing nothing each way. And I was like, I need to use this time cleverly. I need to evolve myself as an artist with these 2 hours I have, because then I also had young children like you, and not much free time at home then to draw. So, but I was kind of like in 2005. That's when I first started to paint digitally with Photoshop. So I had 5-6 years with Photoshop, and I really enjoyed that, and I really had fallen in love with the digital way of painting. And because I didn't like to have the white canvas or the white paper to start on, and because you have to know your highlights before you start when you're using like a watercolor, for example, because everything else needs to be kind of you're not lighting the scene, you're doing the opposite. You're shadowing the scene, and that feels so backwards to do that. So I, with digital, being able to then kind of start out with painting a rough environment in the dark in a way, and then set the lights, that felt so much more natural. That's how you would set up a film scene, you know, like a real movie set. So that's also in a way how I paint environments. I treat it as how I would dress a regular movie set in a way. But this having a digital platform to paint on the bus didn't really exist before the iPad. But I was kind of searching for it, even though I even found out that Wacom and Digital Ink had done a cooperation making a pad at that time, but the delay was so severe that you couldn't really use it. And of course, you could have a laptop with a Wacom tablet on the side, but to have that set up on a bus, that doesn't really work. The seat in front of you is too close, so you can't really fit this stuff. So I was doing watercolor on the bus for a long time, having a little lamp and the painting thing and a cup of water, and I was that that weirdo on the bus, you know.
That would be odd.
Yeah. I usually got the two seats from myself, you know, and nobody wanted to sit beside me, and I was really happy for that, because then I could have my elbow space to paint.
Yeah.
But but I was still like, ugh, can't they just make like a larger phone that you can paint on? And then suddenly the iPad came, and I was like, there it is. That's the one I've been searching for. And in the beginning, there was an app called Brushes, which I also had on the iPhone. So that's the one I used in, I guess, 2010. It came out, the iPad, the first time. And then 2011, I discovered Procreate, and I also reached out to them because I always like to come with suggestions on tools or how this can work and stuff. So, and 3 hours later, I got the response. And since then, we've been really good friends. And yeah, as the Procreate has evolved and the iPad has evolved, it's also just gotten so much better. So it's just crazy how good this app is now.
Yeah.
And yeah, now so everything I do now is on the iPad, and I prefer it this way.
Well, it's awesome,
But
you know. It's like
yeah,
having a sketchbook in a way, you know. It's always with you. Um,
yep,
it's a bit
exactly.
different. You have to plug it into the wall, but other than that, you know, you just kind of turn it on and you're off and on your way.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is so convenient.
yeah,
Yeah, for me, you know, I have to turn on my computer to do
yeah,
digital painting, turn on the Photoshop, set that all up, and you know, keep recording as well.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's different. But that's cool. That's great to hear, and great to share that.
The main part is to find the tool that fits for you, you know,
Mm,
and it doesn't really matter if it's Photoshop or Procreate or whatever you want to use. It's just using something that you find nice to use, you know, where you feel
mm,
comfortable, and that's the main important thing. And to make art, you know, to do it.
mm,
It's
definitely.
yeah,
We'll always
yeah,
find a way, you know. I've heard about so
yeah,
many artists that go to coffee shops, and they end up like creating these artworks on just napkins and you know, all sorts of things.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
back in the day, there was this artist, I think on Disney Channel, they had an artist where he created like these huge artworks with salt, which is really awesome to see. And
for salt.
yeah, salt, you know, like put in food, salt.
Exactly.
You know, you
Hmm.
can make it out of anything. You know, just sit there
Oh
and
yeah, wow, he
you
makes
know,
it out of the salt itself.
yeah, like he
Wow.
would put salt. He would pour salt everywhere, and you don't know what he's doing. And then you
Oh
know,
yeah.
about 2 minutes later, it probably took him about an hour or something. You'd look
Yeah.
up and you see what he had drawn in the salt. um,
Exactly.
you know, you
Kind
can,
of like the sand paintings.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you know some artists can do, and what resources they find.
Yeah.
And time too. I think you know, you having limited time and things like that, you kind of find ways to create in those times, especially when you do have kids and you do have those restraints that stop you from creating, whether yeah, there's kids or some other priorities you have. In those times that you aren't doing anything, you find ways to create. You know, for me at the moment, I have to go to work, but I have
Yeah.
like an hour lunch break. So you know, for a
Yeah.
while, I have been just doing drawings in my sketchbook and doing notes and you know doing that kind of thing at lunch. But then now I've come home for like you know half an hour just to get some other digital stuff if I need to as well. You know,
Yeah.
so I try to use that time wisely, the best I
Yeah.
can as well, because you know it doesn't seem like a lot of time, and you know half an hour to 45 minutes around about it doesn't seem like a lot of time,
Yeah.
but it adds up, you know, slowly, and it takes away some other tasks. Sometimes at night, you know, like it might be little tasks like checking emails or editing videos together or those kind of things. So you know, it takes all those tasks away so that at night when I've got that time to create, I can just create. I don't have to worry about emails. I don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always find time, and it's it's kind of important, you know.
It is, and I think that's also where there's a difference between the ones that actually end up working in the industry and not, you know. You have to put your kind of excuses away and to just find the time, like you say. And it doesn't need to be many hours every day, but it's not good if it is every day.
Definitely. Yeah. I think there's something I think I've been like considering I'm letting go a little bit more, you know, kind of a thing where if I can't do it every day, then I don't do it, you know, kind of a thing. I just do what I can, you know, if I don't do an hour of this every day, you know, I skip a day or something, it's okay, you know, that's what it is. Like, similar to something like Inktober or something like that. You know, you start out doing something like Inktober, you get to day 3 or day 4 or something like that, you don't do it, and then you just give up because you missed a day, you know. Where you could just see where you're at, and you know, you skipped a day, oh well, just keep going and do the next day, you know. Kind of a thing. So that's why
that's easy. Easy to feel like you're being in a way sidetracked, so that, like you say, you kind of fall off the vehicle, and then you feel like you've fallen off now, so you can't get back on. It's kind of like the train has left, and but it's I think it's important to just I'm still on the train if I want to be.
I think that's what I'm trying to do a little bit more. Feel like I'm not falling off the train all the time.
And what do you work with? What is your day job?
So I'm pickpacking at a pharmaceutical company, which, you know, at the moment it's pretty secure job because, you know, we always are supplying the hospitals with, you know, pharmaceuticals and things, so we're always open.
Especially these days, huh?
Yeah. And it pays, you know. But
sorry, go on.
Yeah, it pays a bill, so, you know, it is what it is at the moment. But then, you know, I get to do this stuff. I get to come home, paint, talk with awesome artists from around the world, and slowly create things I want to create.
Oh, that's cool. And it's also, you know, not all hobbies end up to be good jobs either. Like if you love painting also, many aspire to have it as a job, but sometimes it's just nice to have it as a hobby, because then you can be totally free with it. As soon as you get deadlines and critique and hard, difficult clients, and you have to work much more hours per job than you thought you would, then it might not be that fun anymore. So that's also a question, you know. I guess it's worth to always try it out to see if it's something for everybody, but it's not all fun.
Definitely.
And not every client is nice to work with either. So you still get these hard days at work, you know, even though you're just sitting and drawing. It still can be tough.
Definitely, you know, it's no rainbows and ponies, and you know, I said every job has its, you know, dislikes. It's just like with kind of every painting you do, there are things in it that you might not like painting, you know, like you know, you're not used to painting something in the scene, like a light bulb, or a that you just don't like painting, but you want to add it to the scene. So there's those moments, but everything comes with its ups and downs, and if if it's for you, you can handle those downs, and you find ways to kind of, I guess, cope with those downs, or just enjoy those kind of things that you dislike in a way as much as you can.
No, it's always, as long as you have the really cool jobs every now and then it makes it worth it, and for me, I really love doing my own stuff as well, my own artwork, and I think that also keeps me sane. It keeps my balance, because then I don't have the deadlines or the pressure or anything. Then I can just do it in my own pace, or if I don't like it, I don't need to show it to anybody, and I can just get out my own creative output there. So yeah, I cannot turn off the need to draw. Like, it's always on, that I want to paint and draw or do something creative. It's it doesn't have the off switch. So I really, as soon as I'm done painting my work day, I just want to keep on painting my own stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of my art teachers was she was saying that most artists are like drunks or alcoholics, because apparently you can't turn that off, you can't turn the art thing off. So they do that to just get out of that whole mindset of the art thing. That's her opinion. But it is. I feel it is kind of slightly true in a way. There's definitely a lot of artists and creators, musicians. Can't say that right. Just try and switch it off, and get out of it. And every now and again, it's just good to get away from it, just to go and watch that series or whatever you need to, and and once you do know about things, you know about how movies are made or how things are created, you critique the movies, and
I love watching movies and series and stuff like that as well. I think it's important to get, because being an illustrator or concept artist or whatever you are, you work with so much output. It's only output, right? So you need some input as well. You need inspiration. You need to fill up the input stuff as well. So I think that's super important. Like, you cannot just lock yourself in a room and only output. I think then your art will suffer from it. You will, because you only take from the same library. Then you need to get some fresh books into the library to refresh your art as well.
Definitely,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's important to live. You cannot just only do art. At least it wouldn't work for me. I love going to the cinema or watching stuff, or reading through art books, or good photo books is also huge inspiration. Or just walking around in the nature, just looking at stuff. I take thousands of pictures of just weird stuff. Could be just how, do you call it the gutter? like the side of the road.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, like how it transitions from tarmac to gravel to then soil to small plants to bigger plants to up to the big trees, It doesn't take more than that for me to be inspired.
Definitely.
And also how, rock shape, like how mountains, rocks have this, it never looks weird when you look at the colors of the nature or the shapes of the nature. It always looks natural. But if you just try to take that, it's hard to make it look natural in a way. Or clouds, or stuff that kind of look simple, but you try to paint them. It's like, Jesus, this is so hard to make look nice. Or how the light works on a cloud, it's just, it's not always so easy to get it right.
Yeah, there's always challenges.
Definitely, yeah.
And there's always interesting things in nature. Like, I think once I found a stone that looked like Pac-Man. And sometimes some shapes of leaves look really cool. And for me, I really love animals. I love seeing them, and I think one of the cool things I saw not too long ago is a quite yellow bird. We don't usually see them a lot, but this was really yellow. I was like, oh. It's like he just went into a pollen bush or something, and he's covered himself in pollen or something,
Yeah,
it was bright yellow. It's just really vibrant color. And it was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's good to live and then see these things, and take in, and
yeah, it's true. You probably have a bigger fauna of colorful stuff in New Zealand than in Norway, I bet. And also maybe dangerous. Do you have all the same sort of dangerous things in New Zealand as in Australia?
No. No, we don't. We don't have the spiders. We don't have the snakes. We have some spiders, but the most poisonous one here would pretty much only give you a minor injury, maybe a lump or something. Not enough to kill you. We don't have snakes, which is great.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And we have a lot of different birds, and that's what we know for. We have flightless birds, which is great. We have the weta, like weta workshops. We have the weta, which is a
is that named after a bird?
No, weta is actually it's a bug. It's an insect. It's
because the logo of Weta Workshop is a bug.
Yes.
I
think it's related to beetles, as far as I know. Don't quote me on that. But it's an interesting creature, and here in New Zealand, Wellington's bad for it, but sometimes you can find them in your shoes. So
that's nice.
Yeah, it's not so great. You have to watch out for that. You don't want to end up finding wetas in your shoes, because they do have some nasty bits on them.
But you won't, they're not poisonous, or they're just painful?
They're just painful. They don't have any poisons. They just have a lot of bite to them. They just cause a lot of cuts and stuff on you. But they're not, they're not vicious or anything. They just kind of climb on trees and mind their own business. But I'm sure they won't be happy if you, put your foot in their shoe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
But yeah, we're pretty safe here for animals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So you have a lot of the same or the beautiful nature, but none of the dangers.
Mm.
That sounds great. That's like like a better version. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Australia a couple of times because the Procreate is made there.
Mm.
The people live in Savage is in Hobart, Tasmania, and the first time I was there, they were having a party, and in the glass that I picked up, there was a dead scorpion laying at the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's when I felt like, okay, I'm not in Norway anymore. I need to, I need
Mm.
to look into my shoes or so before I put my feet in. But yeah, it was totally fine. It was just a fun, yeah, fun experience.
Awesome. Sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. It's been great chatting with you today. Just wondering
Thank you, and likewise.
if you have any last little lessons you'd like to share.
No, I guess one should commercialize for social media, right? I can at least say that I have Instagram, YouTube. I have the
Awesome.
Schoolism courses, as you mentioned,
Yep.
and also an art station. So I think that's
Awesome.
all of them.
Yep. I have your art station up here, which is cool. So you can check that out at Nikolai Lockertsen art station, Nikolai Lockertsen on Instagram as well. And yeah, all the links in the description. I know you have a Procreate course on Schoolism.
Yeah. So it's one like the first course is pretty much everything that has like Procreate from start to finish, like going through all of it, painting environments, interiors, exteriors, painting characters, the perspective, animation. So that's then you get sort of like the whole package in a way. And then the second course is how I do my most detailed painting.
Awesome.
Uh, when I go to sort of my top level in case of details and also how to use LumaFusion, which is another favorite app where you can do some compositing. It's an editing tool for the iPad, but you can have 6 layers of video on top of each other, and you can key green screen, and you can do a lot of the After Effects type of stuff in there as well. So yeah, so
Awesome.
these two put together is really powerful.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, so everyone keep creating. Thank you again for coming in. And yes, keep creating, keep drawing, and see you in the next video.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.